Please tell me you guys got audio. Jesus Christ, what a day. That was sort of awesome, sort of not. I was like, yay, things are sort of working. And then I guess they weren't. Hello, good afternoon. It's Wednesday. Please tell me you have audio. Like, audio? I genuinely thought we would have fixed these issues, but apparently not. And then when I was trying to start it again, it was being like I was all frozen and I had to refresh, and apparently I managed not to open an extra. So I guess that's positive. Um, but yeah, fundamentally, the other one, I'm not really sure what happened. I really thought I had everything fixed and ready. But still there are some audio issues, so I still need to look into the setups of my streaming software. That's definitely still not working. I am though right now on my new computer. So please bear with me, which means that I am still kind of getting used to where things are on this. It is different. The screen even looks different. It's a bit larger. That's awesome. Um, it's also a bit narrower because the other one was more of a widescreen format. This is just like a regular screen. I also feel that when I looked at the first stream that my face was really like big, and now I feel a bit better. So I'm not really sure. I need to figure out how I work that up. I used to also have a preview of the scenes and my streaming software. Now they seem to be sort of gone, and I'm not really sure how to refigure that. So maybe what I basically need to do is I probably need to sit down and spend some time setting it all up. And I probably would need to do that offline. So we may be off for a few more weeks doing this a manual YouTube, a backend, a stream, a version. But I'm sure we are fine doing that. So, good morning, a good afternoon. As Hella said, still no sound, and that was because I still had to refresh some of my things here in this end. Um, so hopefully here take two goes better. So good morning, Susan. Good morning. I would want to say normally to Lisa, but it is good afternoon from Gibraltar. Enjoy. And yes, thummies would be lovely. Susan says, I don't mind being a test object. I'm happy you guys are looking through with things, and we may just need to do a test at some stage when, who knows? I guess next time I'm trying. I think I'm going to do a little bit more back work on that. Right now, I think part of it has been due to the fact of the last 2 months I've technically been using two computers, which is really inconvenient because I haven't had everything set up for my new one. It wanted for once, it wanted me to do a $10 per month subscription just to use Word and Excel. And I'm like, that's not happening. Like I just want a one-time fee subscription. I don't need a monthly subscription just because I'm supposed to be a pro. Um yeah, so many things has just taken much longer time than I guess I've anticipated. I guess the good note is I must have scored a deal on this computer because when I ordered it in January, personally, I was really debating. I was like, it's pricey, but hopefully it is going to last me long. And in any case, over the time of span and the fact that I can subtract it from earnings for my business and so on, I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I just checked recently just to get some sizing on it because I do need a laptop sleeve to put it in. And I noticed that the price has gone up on this piece, and I can't grasp my mind around the fact that they're asking like 4,000 euros for the exact same piece. So it's increased in price insanely, not just by little, but insanely. And I'm like, what? But that's the same, like I said, one of the houses here further down the street got on sale a few weeks ago, and I checked the pricing out on the home site, and they're charging like they're asking 500,000 euros for it. And I'm like, how can things be so expensive? Anyhow, Cheers. I have my tea. My good old friendly. It's an Earl Grey. It's a Russian Earl Grey. I guess when I open the bag, and it's like 20 tea sachets in it, I just tend to go on the Russian Earl Grey for a bit, and then sometimes I do something else. I had a different tea this morning, but this afternoon we're on the Russian Earl Grey. Oh. I also promised you guys that we were going to work on the hat collector shawl today. So that is definitely the plan, which means that I can start by finding the pattern, which is done like that. And I can also tell you guys that I did work a bit. I haven't gotten far enough yet because now I need to attach my new cake for my beanie. So as you can see, I'm kind of getting out of yarn. But I did finish the ribbon, and I started on the body, so to say, of the Bankhead beanie. So that is how that one is currently looking. It's a little bit difficult to see because um, of the shorter circular needles. But if we do a bit like, oh, I need to watch out here. Do a bit like this. You can see the pattern. Yeah, like that. Oh, sun is shining as well. Does make things easier. So that is a thing I need to do. I also think definitely based on this, that was the smallest of those two cakes. Looking how much I have here, I can easily finish this one with what's left here. So that's awesome. But that is a project for another time. I still have a hope that I'm going to finish this one in February, though I feel it might first be tomorrow or Friday. I have time to work on it because I have a lot of things going on right now. A part of me was almost being like, should I really even stream? Um, so we're streaming today, tonight. I have some practice. I got things set up and sorted for that, so that's awesome. I Tomorrow I have work, of course. I need to sort that we have a yarn talk video for Friday. I need to clean my whole guest room. And Friday is also work and clean up guest room and make sure everything is ready for when my cousin arrives. This just like a lot of stuff going on. And the weekend, it's just hanging out with my cousin. We're probably going to be crafting a fair bit. So I need to have some projects laying around. And I can imagine the heart collectors is going to be a topic, but also we do have the WaffleChic Shrug. So I'm just gonna see if I can pull things out here. So the WaffleChic Shrug is still just a triangle of this gorgeous blue. I have to say, somehow this just feels much more clear right now today. I don't know if it's due to the sun or whatever, but I feel I almost look normal on the screen. Anyhow, um, we're gonna make a shrug out of this. But when I'm just holding it up like this, I'm like, it's probably gonna be a bit short, or I need to stretch it a bit still. Um, if I would make a new one at some stage, I would likely increase the amount of stitches across. The benefit is, of course, when I'm making this one now, is that when I eventually pop into a yarn, maybe in similar yarn, where I'm like, oh, that's hot color, I can just buy it and be ready for it. It's the third skein that I'm on, which is about halfway through, and we will see how far we get on this. But I do need to sew it together at some pace. And as you can see, I don't actually have my poncho on today because I think due to the sun shining, as I said, it is a bit warmer. But let's just for funsies compare. If I can, that's next challenge, of course. But we are pretty close. Oh, we might need another row. But as you can see, I can't get all the way around. But like looking at this, pulling a bit, I think I might need 2 more rows on this. Yeah, 2 more rows and I can sew it together just to make sure there's enough. But on the other hand, I also want to try it without my cardigan. because I wouldn't be wearing my cardigan underneath. So I might just need to double check that, um, just to be sure if I really want to add the extra 2 rows or not. And the reason for 2 rows is because that just makes it, look nice on the places where I have to sew it together. It kinda makes it more even. So, thank you, Susan. Irish guy I know has seasonal affective disorder, and it has been awful for him. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, here it's just seasonal business. And then we have March. So the first week of March is gonna be chill. Well, it's not chill because I have so many things to do before I'm gone for like 2 weeks. So it's crazy. I did not reach to do anything at all since Monday on the hat collectors. So we're still just at it on the second cake. And it's about 2 rows ago, a row and a half, we added that. So that is where we are at. And that is also the beautiful thumbnail. We are at a place where I believe we are gonna do a crap ton of back posts. So I'm just finding the right section in the pattern. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. It's a big pattern, my friends. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Oh my goodness, I am sorry for that. Da, da, da. I did this because that's the double crochets, and then it says repeat row 9, turn trebles, back post trebles. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. We can do that. Lisa says I finished my octo cardi and I started a shawl that I didn't want to actually make. Oh, I broke down yesterday and bought some double pointed needles and cast on a sock. Sometimes we just need something else, I guess. That's just how it is. Let's see. I should be able to still get you guys to get this view. And I am curious how this goes. But are we too bright? A little bit, maybe. We should probably go a little bit darker because my hands are really like bright. So while I really genuinely had hoped everything was fixed, I can tell you for sure that the camera did not fix anything. Um, that will be the default. We need to go all the way bright before we can go dark again. I wish it had like a tune up, tune down function, so you don't necessarily need to go all the way, so to say. Da, da. So we'll flip the work around. And what we are going to do is we're going to stack some single crochets. In fact, we're going to stack 3 single crochets as to create a treble or replace a treble. And that piece is also not the original way of handling the pattern. It's just the what I've chosen to do because I think it looks nicer. Um, and I like to have a stitch marker in that top stitch. Then it is, as I said, a bunch of back post trebles. I think it's like 98 or something like that on each side. So we're already towards 100, 200 stitches, which also makes, like, think about it. It's 1/5 of a fleur all the way around. My goodness. Yeah. There's 100 stitches in total, all the way down to the tip. What can I say? Wow. Yeah, I just sometimes need to double check that what I'm doing is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, I guess the beanie and the heart collectors is one of my main projects for when I'm getting visitors, and then I'll still need to look at a easy peasy project for the following weekend, something that I can easily bring with me in the car, because then we are back with me going or heading to Germany. Um, so Mhm. March is indeed a busy, busy one. Um, raw calculation is I'm gone for like 2 weeks during the month of March. Um, so yeah. And on Monday, we should have another episode of Salt My Stash. We are having the second episode or second part of all my hobby twisters and yarn art flowers cakes. Um, there's that as well. So we are going to look at much more of those. And then I need to figure out what's next on the list. Um, we do have some yarn art of the Rose Garden. So that's similar to Hobby's Cotton King's Sultan Deluxe. I definitely also have some of those we need to go through. But yeah, my Ravelry stash is definitely been increasing without me buying yarns. It's just me getting them slowly sorted on Ravelry. So that is definitely progress made. Right now, the progress doesn't seem as big on the actual yarn consumption. And as I said, one of the reasons for that is we started on the hat collectors here, and that is just going to take time. And once I've gotten the yarns from these used, that's bam, instantly a lot of yarn done. So I guess also usage wise, it ends up being a sort of an average. There's always going to be months where you are more busy than other months. I definitely also need to bring some projects with me for when I'm in Denmark. So I have something to work on there. Tomorrow, Lisa will start her travel home. Safe travels. It's always an awful travel home, unless you're looking forward to go home. But vacation tends to go way too fast by. Um, my team lead just got home from her short vacation. She was in Spain as well. I think they were in Valencia. Um, and I'm just being like, I could really use a vacation. But yeah, we'll have to see when it comes. Um, Vacation wise, I can imagine I'm going to be the one paying for a bunch of it because my partner got some quite nasty bills from the government this year from taxes. So when you have a business in the Netherlands, the government make a pre-assessment on the amount of tax you're supposed to owe and or pay. So they make an estimate based on the year before. So they say, okay, in 2025, you earned this much money. Therefore, we estimate that you will earn at least the same for 2026, and therefore we would like to get this much tax money from you. Or in fact, they actually base it on 2024 in this case, but still. So every time they do that, it's like, yeah. And my partner did make a good profit in 2024, which means that he's now being bonged on that as pre-tax, but he doesn't actually even know if he's going to earn the same amount of money this year because, again, running a business next to your regular job, it's some businesses is really difficult to predict what earnings you're going to have. At least they did allow, due to the size of the tax bill, him to spread it out. What then happens if he doesn't earn as much? Then, of course, next year, but that's going to be in a year time first, he's going to get whatever excess he would have paid extra in tax back. No interest rate. That sucks. Any must-see yarn stores there for when I go in April, Megan is asking, and that would be for Lisa. Lisa says the actual travel part I don't enjoy. I like the destination and home, not the process of getting to them. I agree. That's not necessarily pleasant. Well, kind of depends, I guess. It's a part of my nature. I've traveled so often in the past, so I don't personally have any problems with the traveling. Um, and I do still feel semi-naked right now when I travel home to see my parents, and that sounds a bit weird saying it like that, but please don't misunderstand me. I used to travel with my kit bag and my rifle, and that's two extra pieces of suitcase or items that needs to be checked in. So always flying just continental or non-intercontinental flights in Europe means that you will always have overweight. You will have to pay for an extra bag. Um, and I have to say, it's so weird not having it with me. Like I'm used to always minimum having two suitcases with me to the airport. Um, and I don't anymore. Actually, even three, because I would still need to have a suitcase with my clothing, right? So yeah, in that sense, it feels odd. um, so suddenly I can bring like a whole big suitcase just for myself. I'm like filling it to the brim because I'm like, I may not need it, but I have the room to bring it, which is kind of weird. I've gotten a bit luxurious in my old years. Yeah, I hear a dog that's whining somewhere. Anyhow, what I'm suggesting is once I've done with this row and it looks good, then we may get to leaving in ends, or I may need to do another row of lace first. I'll see. Susan is asking Megan where she's going, a business or pleasure trip. I believe Megan is also going to Spain, from what I understand. My trips in March is mainly business, so to say. So the first trip is, well, both business and pleasure. It's a competition where I have to be at for the first weekend. Then the next trip is basically the day after. That's to Amsterdam, and that is definitely business because that's my work. The following day is the travel back home. Then I'll travel to Denmark. That is a combination, I would say, of business and pleasure. Um, because I do have to work while I'm there, but I'm not traveling for the purpose of working there. It's just more like a side thing. So I think overall it's probably a bit more pleasure. And then the next travel is back again to Germany, and that is probably also more like a combination of both business and pleasure. I definitely won't get paid for it. Um, so then I guess it belongs more in the pleasure alley. Um, mm, 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 mm. Lisa says my favorite store is called All You Knit Is Love. Second would be the La Lana Lu, and the least favorable, as they didn't have a lot of stock, was called Miss Kits. Okay. Megan says they're going on a pleasuring tour to Spain and Portugal. So, like a round trip, Spain and Portugal. Sounds nice, though. Um, Megan, what you should treat yourself, that is, if you do enjoy a glass of alcohol, is when you are in Portugal, you should treat yourself to a port, a really good port wine, which is a splendid dessert wine. So if you go out for dinner, see if you can grab a good glass of port. Um, it's just a little bit more, I guess, unique when you're there. Oh no. Come here with you. Almost shows yarn. My husband would love that. I'll let him know. And of course, the wines are good as well. Mainly red wines, though the port, especially for because port wine is a native Portuguese way of doing. It's like a dessert wine, and yeah, it just goes well with a range of desserts. So that's what I'd recommend. When we were in Lisbon, this is like many years ago. Um, the restaurant we ate at would offer that also automatically as a sort of aperitif. So after dinner, while you would consider if you wanted a dessert or not, or when you were waiting for paying the bill. Um, so yeah, and they had a really good one. And I'm normally not like a big wine drinker or anything. So when I like something, it's usually reasonably good because I'm quite picky. Lisa's asking Mecca if she spins, and she says no, sadly not. So I would assume spinning own wool would be the reference here. I wonder whose dog it is. I can hear a dog outside the window, and it's just being keeping barking and making noises for the last 10 minutes. Hmm, hmm. Oh, Lisa says if you were, I would say I only found fiber at one of the three stores. Ah, okay. I guess it's also very individual what people do. I don't think spinning is as popular in Spain as it might be in other countries, where wool is a more common denominator. But honestly, I can't really say for sure. I've not really investigated much time um, into Spanish stores of yarn. Last time I were in Spain, yarn was not of my first interest. Um, that would have been a definitely nope. If you're booking your own tickets for attractions, book them very early, like before you leave, especially for the Sagrada de Familia. I can imagine that. Yeah. Some tickets can definitely be worth booking from home. You can skip queues. Sometimes a lot of places also offer cheaper tickets if you buy them online in advance. Like you can save a couple of euros on the entrance. Rev says, I do not understand doing this. Why get a dog if you don't want to have it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whose dog it is either. I can just and my windows are closed and I can hear it through my windows. So it's within a 50 to 100 meters distance, and it's basically being like, "Woo, woo," like, wait, yeah, it's still there. It's been 10 minutes now. Um, so clearly, the dog is trying to communicate either it's alone or it wants something, and nobody is giving it what it wants, or at least making sure it doesn't say anything. It's really weird. Um, even my neighbor's dog is more silent, and that is actually a quite alert one. So my old neighbors, the ones behind the wall that I used to have, they had a dog, but you barely would know that they had a dog unless you bust their doorbell. Then it would say woof. But it was a very silent dog as a dog. And then the new ones, that would basically, as soon as it sees somebody walking on the street, it doesn't know, it would say woof. But it's just like a single woof, and that's it. Um, and we have other neighbors with dogs that doesn't really often say much either, unless somebody's buzzing their doorbells. But this one is just seems like it's in the garden, being like, "I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here." I don't know. Um, it feels like it's saying like that when it's barking, but I don't know. I don't speak dog. I'm not Cesar Milan. Lisa says you can also try to go to the Sagrada later in the afternoon. Then you can see the golden hour of the stained glass. Yes, I'd like to go back to the Sagrada. Did you reach this? Had they removed the top, or had they just done that after you had left Barcelona? Because just around this time last week, they kind of just removed the last piece on the very top point, so it's like the tallest as it should be. Um, but I believe it's not still completely finished, so I'm probably still going to wait a couple of years just to go there and have a look at it. Um, Megan says, "Thank you for the advice. I wouldn't have thought of that." Well, especially on the saving part, sometimes just by buying tickets online, you can save like €2 or whatever per person for the entry fee. So that is something I generally warmly recommend if you can find places to get things online and reserve and stuff like that. Really do that in advance if you have an idea of what you want to do. Um, because let's face it, maybe if you're going to, and you may save €2, buy two, that's €4. It doesn't sound like much, but still, it's a cup of coffee somewhere on the terrace. And you do that twice, then you got your free coffee somewhere, if that makes sense. So the money you save, you can technically use on um, on rewarding yourself or something extra nice somewhere else. That's how I look at it, at least. Um, but right now, I'm not too happy with the Dutch government because they're discussing new ways of taxing people's worth. And whatever they're discussing right now, I really hope they're not going to go through with, because it's going to be very expensive then to have some sort of value. You're going to be taxed more than I don't know what. So right now, I'm not the happiest camber. Mm-mm. We wouldn't have either. A friend of mine gave the advice to us. They are still cranes there last week. They didn't have all the top pieces up yet when we were there. Okay. It's very close to being finished. So, yeah. But in any case, I still warmly recommend, even if it's not finished, to go and watch it. It's a masterpiece. It's both inside and outside, but the Sagrada de Familia is, yeah. I'm not religious, but it's gorgeous. Also, be mindful of pickpockets. We had no issues, but we were warned multiple times, so we were cautious. Yes. Um, make sure that um, you're very mindful of that. You know, have the crossbody bag so you can have it in front of you. Never have it on the back, um, if slash when possible. Um, because it is a very touristic city, especially Barcelona, and pickpockets tend to target intentionally tourists because tourists are likely more busy with being in awe of what they see around them than being busy with the actual surroundings, if that makes sense. And then here we talk people. Um, so usually that would be what they target, um, and that would be a really really sad vacation if one has an encounter with a pickpocket. So far, I've been lucky enough not to have any happening when I've been on the way. Um, but I also know how they can be. I have seen things. Um, two more trebles, and we have done the first 100. Like that. Also, I had a crash course today to some AI stuff that we have to use for work. And it's everybody here now, I guess, knows ChatGPT. Um, and I already can use ChatGPT for work, and it can make some of the more daunting tasks for me, for sure. Um, like if I need to write a piece of 50 words, whatever, about something, I can ask ChatGPT to research it and write me a text, and then I can look at the text, and then I can decide if I think it's good enough, or I can make small amendments, which is nice because some of those texts are really brainless jobs. Um, but we now also have a new AI. It's called Claude. Claude is it's basically able to do things on your computer that you requested to. So Claude can create files. It can create, for example, CSV files, gather that data, depending on factors that you provided and stuff like that. So it can execute things on your computer after you give it the command to do so. Um, but that also means, obviously, that things can go wrong. Like, technically, I could break my computer, my work computer. And during this introduction, which I had from my direct boss, he then said to me, "And Stine, don't worry, if you break your computer, you'll get a new one. Just let us know." Like, don't be afraid of breaking your computer. You'll get a new one. I'm like, okay. That said, though, if I do break my computer and I'll have to get a new one, it's gonna take a few days before it's gonna be here. So I guess should I try to break it? Because does that mean then that that I can get a few paid days off? I don't know. That's a joke. Um, I have no intention of trying to break it because I would need to get used to a new one. That's a hassle. But I remember with my old job when my computer broke, I would basically have to wait until the computer department would get me a new one, um, which sometimes would give you a few days off for free. Um, but yeah, that's a bit fun. Lisa says, no, thank you. I don't need any AI controlling my computer. Well, yeah. The thing is, if I don't do it, I won't be progressing with the rest of the company. And it can do things for us. It can automate things for us that we currently do manually. And we're talking about things that could take us 10, 15 hours to do. And the AI could do it for us in maybe an hour. Um, it's explained in a way like this. It's like having 10 interns, and the interns doesn't really know anything, and you need to tell the interns what to do. But yeah, it's um, it's definitely something one needs to get used to. And yes, it will make some people redundant. No, it's not likely to make me redundant, um, because a lot of the work we do does require knowledge, so to say. Rev says that is an exceptionally stupid idea for the company. Well, yeah, um, I think it has things. I think it has potential, but it depends on how you use it. So some of the really boring and tedious tasks would be awesome, and you know, I need to be open for it, because if I'm putting myself against it, what's the likelihood of me keeping my job then, as well? So I can't fear this. Um, but I guess they will need to have the AI go completely off the wall and delete important files permanently. Yeah, something along those lines. And there are also things that it cannot do for us. For example, we do not allow the AI to have logins to specific tools. For example, we have a tool that helps us keeping track of our passwords. Um, and also because some of the passwords are quote unquote shared across the departments. Um, but it's not allowed to get access to that. So there are things that we will have to let that do manually. But as an example, when I have to do once a month, which is probably going to be, it's going to be either tomorrow or Friday, because it's in the end of the month. I have to do it on the 25th or later, which could have been today. But the problem is today I did not have time. Um, but it could be then placed on, like I could tell it to say, please open all the partners in our revenue sheet, and then I can go in on each partner website to check, for example, the exact revenue we made. But the logins for these partners, I will have to do that manually. But I could make the AI open all those sites for me, so I wouldn't have to do it one by one. And then just basically close down each page as once one's got there, so to say. There are definitely benefits. We have lots of entries um, in our backend where sometimes we need to do quality sorting of it, and we can have that done as well by AI. So instead of me having to go through um, 300 plus merchants reading through all of the content, um, I can get that done automated rather than having to do it manually. So there are definitely um, possibilities. LLM AI is just a barely functioning chatbot that is technological dead end. It will never get the endpoint that is being promised. Okay, on top of that, LLM AI are all based on stolen work. Okay, yeah. So the ones we use for work would be Claude. Um, I have no idea how and what. But again, we are then, if it's a too big company, it's likely not going to benefit. But we are a size-wise company where it likely is to benefit us. Um, So I need to be willing to keep learning and developing my skills there, I guess, um, to ensure that they are likely going to give me a permanent contract by the end of the year. That would be nice. And then no more concerns, just work and crochet or something like that. But yeah. So I'm a little bit gutted that my stream didn't fully work as I had hoped it would, my streaming software. But I could indeed see that it didn't generate audio, like there was no audio waves moving. So I'm not really sure why. Maybe that's something to check, but yeah, I'll figure it out. I just need time to sit down and play more with it. Figured it out on the old device, but I didn't recall I spent so long fiddling with it. Um, do what you have to do, but I would not give AI access to anything. Yeah, well, it has access to work stuff. And that's based on permissions granted by my boss. And what my boss tells me to do. So it is I do what I have to do, but obviously I would never allow it access to anything personal. And right now I can tell you absolutely for 100% sure it's not getting any connection to um, um, my personal information. I would definitely not want that done. But he's also saying, like, be mindful of things. Um, like, we are to use a healthy caution. I think the reason it was said, like, don't worry if you break it, you'll get a new computer, is more like, don't be afraid to use it. Please engage. And if it doesn't want to do what you do, you just close it down and you can start again. Like, so I think it's more to prevent fear of working with something you're not familiar with, rather than, oh, try to break your computer, because that's definitely not the intent here. Um, that's how I kind of guess pitched it. Hmm. Huh. Lisa says, change of topic. The double pointed needles I bought yesterday I wouldn't. Steen, I don't know how you use them. I will make this pair of socks because they are what I have, but metal are far superior. Metal seems heavy, but I guess it all depends. Um, but yeah, the wooden double pointeds I have are definitely not as good as my circular needles. The wood is not the same quality. That said, I think I'm able to use them because the alternative is that if I have to close down and have so few stitches on round needles, I get too frustrated because basically at some stage you're gonna pull more in the yarn to be able to actually make it all the way around. S- Rev says, I get it, but the problem is the more you know about the large language model AI, the more you realize how stupid it is to give these programs access to anything. It's interesting how everyone prefers different style of tool in knitting and crochet. Wood versus resin versus metal and plastic for crochet, etc. Wood versus metal for knitting. Definitely. Um, there are definitely also, um, yeah, we're all different. And that's what I like. We're all unique. We also all have a different desire of what types of items we like to crochet. The brand, because you can have metal hooks from a range of brands, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to use them. Um, I am extremely happy with these. That's Clover Soft Touch. They are on the shorter end if you have small hands. So probably not very friendly for Rev and his big paws. It also depends. It's the same, like, are you a knife holder or are you a pencil holder? Well, you may have noticed already, but I am definitely a knife holder. I could try to, but it feels so weird. Like I can't barely like figure out how to get this yarn around decently tied around. Now we got two of those that I need to, and I kind of go down, which is not what I'm supposed to do, and I have to get out here and pick it up, and then somehow I still need to no, it just doesn't feel right, even though it should. I have much more control in my wrist doing the knife grip. See, I just sort of attempted and I'm holding it wrong already. That's a good question. Did you give me some thummies for this stream? Did you like it? Because we did have a little technical issue. I did have to start a new one, unfortunately, which I thought was amazing in the beginning, and then it wasn't, and I'm still not really sure how to fix it, but we'll have to work on that. Oh, somebody dropped something in my mailbox. I'm going to make the new red teapot shawl for my friend for the bridal shawl. I'm going to use mostly white, but the petal looking parts I'm going to do in a rainbow yarn, one of the Katia yarns. That sounds nice. It is a gorgeous shawl. Didn't buy it yet. I still think there's a few red teapot atelier shawls I haven't made, which I actually do have in my stash or my pattern box, so to say. So I'm probably gonna make those first before looking at um at the next project or buying the next one. Rose says sounds like it's going to be pretty. Alisa says thank you. And Rose says, I don't understand the pencil grip, just feels so unnatural. That's my point. Like, I'm trying. I'm like, how? Just no. How? No, 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 no. Like, when I watch Amanda crochet, she does the pencil grip. I'm like, how can you do this, girl? How can you do this successfully? I don't understand. Um, but I guess it also depends on who taught you. Um, and what their skills were or method were, because you tend to adapt into what others do. Um, But what I like about this, oh no, no, yarn split on me. What I like about the ability, so to say, that you can choose freely what grip you prefer, it just, allows for the uniqueness of us. And we can, you know, the end result is the same. It's a nice crocheted piece, but how you get there will be individual depending on our individual abilities, skills, um, and preferences. Do, 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 do. Meanwhile, we are definitely slowly getting to the end of this row. I'm definitely not going to make as many rows as we did last time. Point one, stream started later because I hoped that everything would work, which of course it didn't. Talk about my luck. We are, though, on a different computer. So some things has improved, but I'm not there yet. So yeah, I certainly agree with the pencil grip feeling unnatural. To me as well, my friend. To me as well. Mhm. A part of me feels like grabbing the shrug and take off my shirt and compare. I think I may still need two more rows. Mm, but I'm not sure. I could also just give it a look tonight. Tonight. But then we are back at me. I kind of want to have the hat finished for February. Um, Subconsciously, I really hope to have it finished before the yarn talk, but that's not happening. Reality is that I didn't have as much time as I thought I had hoped to have yesterday, and the same for um, what is it called? The same for today. I just know that I don't have the time. Du, du, du. Mm. Du, 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 du. Almost done. 200 stitches further along. Think about that. 200 stitches on this row. I'm not sure if I want to calculate how many stitches there will be in the final rows because we barely started. Gosh, it's gonna be huge. Well, I am making a large after all, but still, my goodness. But on this cake, I am slowly starting to see different coloring. It is very difficult to see, but look down here. Right there, definitely some different coloration. But it's gonna be a while before we get there because it's like another layer. But then it's time to put on the next cake once we get to that end. Du-du-du-du-du. Oh, it was. Meanwhile, it is 3:26 p.m. here in Central Europe. Um, and as I said, the weather has been sunny today, so I have a feeling that it could be either sunny or partially cloudy, what it would say, but let's check what Nightbot says on the weather. I can't believe this. Is that really gonna be it? Megan says, I'm so sad about hobby with Matt and Louisa getting laid off. Yeah, that sucks, to be honest. Um, apparently they have been working on changing stuff in their structure. But yeah, that sucks. Like bunch. But they also changed their like you don't have a Hobby Plus subscription anymore. I guess I figured out how I got most value out of it. And once I had that figured out, I used it to my full extent. Um, and that's just around when they shut it all down. I will say to any pencil grip people, if it works for you, then be your own beautiful unicorn. Megan says, I wonder if the tariffs really hurt them. It's potential they did, yes. But they were also looking at other markets, and I guess it's a part is maybe also due to what it costs to ship and what abilities they have. There are many aspects to take into consideration, I think, um, personally. And as I told you, the weather is pretty unbelievable here. It is definitely feeling like spring. And the weather for the area here is currently sunny with a temperature of, I am sitting down, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 18 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from south southeast at 9 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 62. It is freaking gorgeous outside. I have to admit, it is such a beautiful weather. Maybe I should walk to the range later instead. Also, don't forget to hydrate. But oh my goodness, it's really gorgeous weather. I should anything but stream. I should be outside. But our window chair or summer chairs for the garden chairs, they're all in the um shed. So I can't even sit down and enjoy unless I try to dig them out. So but at 18 degrees, I should be sitting outside in the sun. Freaking nice. Like genuinely? And tomorrow it's gonna be 17. It's gonna get a bit colder. Then Friday, Saturday, slightly rain. Sunday, 13, but still, I wanna get out. Why am I in here? The feeling of the slightest summer. That is what this is. But yeah, night was a bit slow today, definitely. But the weather here is amazing. Like it's crazy. It's like something crazy happened. Like we spoke Monday saying like it's great, it's cold, and I'm like, ugh. And now it's like boom, plus 10 degrees on top, and we're happy, we're sunny, and we're I don't know, maybe it listened to me, even though it's first gonna be spring on Sunday, right? Like month wise, technically speaking. The tariffs amounted to under $10 an order, but I ordered from hubby twice, and both time took 7 weeks, and the second time my bag showed up torn and open. Oh my goodness. It was not really their fault, but given how expensive hobby is baseline, it was just too much of a hassle for me giving other options I have. I understand. Lisa says I just don't like hobby prices that equivalent to hand dyed prices. I think the hobbies yarns are slightly bit more accessible to me due to being in Europe. Um, but also I won't buy hobby at normal price. I will only buy hobby on sale. Um, Really good example are these cakes. As I said, I pay like if I would buy it today, it would be 35 euros for a full cake. I am definitely not gonna pay 35 euros for a cake like this. Like, no way. That's not happening. But when they're on sale for like a 40% discount. Then I'm definitely open for buying them because that's a much more approachable price. Um, so for full price, their yarns, I definitely don't buy them either. No, but I'm definitely keen on getting them for a discounted price, and that goes with a lot of yarns actually. Um, yeah, give me this. We want discounts. Give us discounts. Goody goody. Then it is repeat row 10. So we are gonna turn our work, and then it's a bunch of single crochets. I believe it's like two single crochets and then a single crochet in each stitch, and then we have the double crochets in the center. Yeah. Two, two, two. So we'll start by a single and then another single. And before we continue, just tighten that stitch. Yeah, that's the thing. When they're on 40% discounts, that's what the user price is for other brands. I think it's also a question of things like what you have available and what you need. What's available to you. Um, there hobby also have a lot of yarns that I wouldn't buy for the life of it. Um, but they definitely have yarns that I have no issues buying. But that is how a hobby is making a bunch of their money, is by high prices on things not on sale, which can afford them to put it on sale, and then it sounds much better when they can say, "Oh, but you save 50%." Trust me, when you say 50%, they still earn money. And maybe there's a tiny hope that you will um, still purchase something not on sale when you're doing the other order just to get free shipping or whatnot. And of course, that's also a place where money can be earned. Last summer, Hobby for Period had free shipping for the Netherlands set at just €10. So I were able to do a few orders back then uh, of a few things that I needed. That's then increased to 19, so €20, then to 30, and now it's at I think 40. Um, and it used to be 75 or 80 or something like that. So I'm expecting it to go all the way up back. So they probably had very low free shipping for a period to get people to become loyal customers, if that makes sense. Then now they increase the limit you need to purchase for to get free shipping, because then they sell more. Um, so there is definitely marketing behind that, for sure. Yeah, they want way too much from mass-produced acrylic yarn when they are low. Yep. Their yarn is nice, but not exceptional, which I would have to be given the whole rigmarole to get through the customs. Oh, yeah. Harshness is therefore just a much more convenient option to me. And there is it, like, let's talk about Millens and Hirschens Millens, which is likely also made on the same factory as yarn arts, flowers or hobbies twisters or whatnot. But for me, I would pay more to get Hirschens Millens than I would to get the original from Hobby, or for that matter, even to buy it from a place where they would resell the yarn art cakes. Um, so yeah, that's not either an option for me. Sad but true. And there is definitely something to getting a lucky bag or two random million cakes, because sometimes you're then forced to work with colors and figure out something with yarns that you originally had no intention of buying. Like, I have some hobby salting cakes that I got as a lucky bag. There was a period just around when I started crocheting again that um, hobby were selling lucky bags with cakes, and you would pay about €10 per cake ish. Um, so I got some of those, and therefore I definitely do have some Cotton King Sultan cakes that I originally didn't intend to buy, but I ended up getting because they were in the lucky bag. They don't do that anymore, unfortunately. What a shame. I would not really recommend Harshness to a European. The extra expense for shipping and duties and the like puts the price per unit above their value. As an American, Harshness is a decent value when you catch a sale. Yeah, that's the thing, right? What's the value after taxes, tariffs, and whatnot? For instance, now the US people buying from ice experience the same issue that we in Europe have, because we do have to pay import tax on yarns from ice. So generally, uh, roughly, including shipping and tariffs from um, ice to get them to the Netherlands, I should expect the yarns to cost about as twice as much, so double the price as what I see in the store. Depending, of course, on how many I buy and so on. But that is really the expectation to have, is that it accounts for another at double the price when I go get ice, because import tariffs to the Netherlands as well as shipping costs to UPS uh, will on average knock the price up per ball by a fair bit. It is a long time ago I got something from ice. I almost feel like making a new order with them, but I really shouldn't, because I have enough yarn from ice that I can use first. I can get yarn nut flowers from Amazon for 20 to 25 Canadian dollars. Plus, I have prime shipping. Twister cakes will cost me 67 plus shipping and import tax. Ugh. Yeah, there's no reason why you wouldn't get the yarn nut flowers. I can get yarn nut flowers, including shipping, for maybe 15 euros. Maybe a bit less, depending on if I would buy a few extra cakes. I could put the price per cake down on shipping. That said, there are colors in yarn nut flowers that they don't have in hobbies, twisters, and opposite. I also realized I have one of my yarn nut flower cakes in my stash. It is limited edition. They don't make it anymore. And I'm not even sure if I think it looks good. It looks better on the photo than it does in reality. That's my personal opinion of the yarn. There's a German web store who also sells yarn art. There's actually also a Dutch one where I've gotten from in the past, but they're a little bit more pricey than the German one. The German one is priced technically a much more, what can one say, approachable store. Um, so we're just gonna check the two, see if one of them. So the Dutch one offers free shipping when I purchase for 60 euros. And they have some really nice things, which I think personally is also like a rip-off of some of the Lion brand cakes. But let's see here. Yarn Art Flowers, what would they charge? They charge 13 euros. Which means that if I would buy 6, actually 5, if I would buy 5 of them, I would get free shipping. Solved. Like, just to compare, right? Um, they do have a few nice ones. And then they have some where I'm like, ah. But that's 13 euros. Let's just for funsies see the other one. I would have to pay for shipping because they don't offer free shipping outside of Germany. Mhm. But just to compare here, they are €9 a piece. But they don't have all of the colors either. Um, so that's a €4 difference. So as soon as I order, like I think they charge 12 or €15 for shipping. So if order more than, let's say, four, four or five, the shipping would pay for itself, and everything from there would be cheaper, which is still reasonably cheap compared to some of the other things, right? Um, so Yana is definitely a much price friendlier um, option than um, Hobby's Twister. It's also why I suggest people to um, like if it's not a color specific choice, I would say go for the flowers. That's more budget friendly. Megan says Linda Hobby has their cakes on sale for $10 too, and they're pretty as well. Yes, they look very much like Cotton King's Sultan. I don't know if they are though. Uh, but we could let's just go. Oh, inspired. Welcome to Linda Hobby, the Dutch site. So you get to see my Dutch prices. Um, some of them are for sale. We have the lace cotton here. It's pretty cheap actually, like €2 per skein. Anyhow, what we're gonna go through is to find their own yarns. They have some of their own brands, which is absolutely freaking awesome. Um, this is the cotton yarns I've used for beanies. And they're likely gonna. Expect they will be on sale in either March or April. And then you'll save about 50%, just as an example. We have their merino here. I've been debating on actually getting some of this merino. I think it could make nice hats, but also other stuff. I have this shine here in my stash, and it feels wonderful. It's very much like Hobby's Metallico yarn, except Linda Hobby is much nicer price technical wise. It's cheaper. Um, that's a thicker merino. Looks nice. The Vibrant Locks is acrylic. And you have the Vivid Locks, and I think one of them is a premium acrylic. Let's just pop on to see that for funsies. Yeah, this is a premium acrylic. Like gorgeous greens. I wouldn't mind picking up some when they were on sale. But they also have bulk discount, just like Hobby. So here, if you buy 8, you only pay €2.35 a piece. Lots of various color choices. Um, gorgeous, I think. So here we have the soft cakes. I have Linda Hobby soft cakes myself. I have actually more or less one of each color, I believe. So I have them in my stash. We're gonna go through them as well. This one is what I made the Ceylon tea shawl with a year ago. And this one I've made the Darjeeling tea shawl with. And the others are still kind of like waiting on me to decide what to make. But I believe I have one of each. Or maybe this one I don't have. I'm unsure. But I have close to one of each. But again, these I would get definitely when they're sale. But even then, um, if you buy 5, you only pay €12 a piece, which is a pretty decent price. It's 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. It's a nice feel to the yarn, and I personally use 3.5mm hooks with it. Um, For the price difference, I would just pick a color that works. I wouldn't pay over $40 more for a specific color. Depends on what the end result is supposed to be, but I get you. Definitely, I do. Yeah, Linda Hobby has much more reasonable shipping, and the prices are much better. I totally agree. Yeah, Lisa, the soft cakes they are 4-ply threads, individual threads, just like Hobby's Sultan cakes. You can actually see that here. It's very like four thin threads together. It has a nice feel, this yarn. Um, then they have some nice new ones in between where I'm like, yes, please, I need to try it out. So this is gorgeous. Look at this. €7, 7 day for a cake? Like, this is what I say. This is like Hobby's Cotton Kings Sultan. It's 100% cotton, 200 grams to 800 meters, which is exact same specs as Hobby's Cotton Kings Sultan. Um, and they come in an assortment of colors as well. Not all of the same, but some of the same. And this one I really like. I also like this one, as well as this one. I think is freaking gorgeous. Wow. Um, that one is nice too. So there are a few nice ones. We could just be nice and take them one by one, huh? But here you probably need to think a bit of Cotton King's Sultan, so the regular Sultans. I haven't touched or filled this yet. It's a newer yarn that's arrived since last time I bought from Linda Hobby. Plus, um, it wasn't on sale last time I ordered from Linda Hobby. So that's the reason I don't have it in my stash. I'd like to have it in my stash. But reality is also I shouldn't have it in my stash because I have enough other yarns right now. So that's their choices. Oh, we don't need this. um, we also have the woolly cakes. I have those too, and I think they used to have like 4 different. Oh, they got bigger choice. Oh my goodness. Okay, 50% wool, 50% acrylic, 200 grams to 700 meters. There are new choices here. They were not there last time. So I have this one, which is this sort of beige colored one. This one I gave it away in a giveaway like 2 years ago, something like that. This one is new. I'm not pretty sure if I like it though, but it's new. And this is forest or something like that. I kind of like it. Then we have sundown, sunset. It looks nice. We have the red one. Looking on the length and so on, I'm like, oh, it could be good for like a poncho or something along those lines. I get in the mood. The blue ones, yellow, teal ones, and this one I had two. This one I have two in my stash. But all those in between, they're new. So like from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new ones they have. Wow. And they also like €10 ish when they go on sale. So that's really fair pricing. Megan says that's weird. On the US side, they're half price and $9.99, and the cotton ones are $7.99. Megan, it could be because I'm watching the Dutch page and the euros exchange rate is different than the dollars. So there's an exchange rate difference. Plus, it could also be related to taxes. That because for me it's just a 19% tax to pay on any. This one is new too. Wow, that is really whoa, very. I don't know what to call this. I'm thinking a bit like lollipop candy. Not really sure if I would like it or not, but that's actually okay. Oh my goodness. It's really like pow pow. This is Christmas. Well, it's named Christmas, so that fits. Not sure what I would make of that either, but well, okay, I guess. Um, and then we have the for soft cakes. I have these as well. They're 9.99. Oh, Chanel Silver Lurex as well. Velvet Max cotton. And they also have something else here. Like they like if you get 10 skeins, you can get discount. Oh, please save cash. No, I'm not buying anything. But that's new. Cotton 87? That's also new. I wonder what they would use that for. Ah, it's a little bit thinner than the 88. Slightly bit thinner than the 88. It doesn't have that many color choices though. Quite vibrant. Anyhow, soft cakes. They got new colors too. Goodness, this is so dangerous to go on the site. I know I want to go shopping now. I have a range of these colors in my stash too, but definitely not all of them. Given the fact that they have new colors, I will try to go through them. I can't say you exactly which I have, but I will tell you if I think it's a new color. But I think just down there is mainly the new ones. This one has definitely been there for a bit. This one I have the idea is new. This one has been there as well as this one and this one and this one. I think I even have this one in my stash. You have the lavender here and the amethyst. This one is also there for a while. I have that one in my stash, I know. I also know I have this one, which is gorgeous. This one has also been there for a while. For me, it's just too much coloring changing, so it's a little bit too busy somehow. This one I think is new. I have the idea I have this one in my stash. I like this one. I think this is gorgeous. I might have this one in my stash, but I'm not sure. But it's not new. This one I think I have as well. This one seems new. This one I'm familiar with too. I'm not sure if this one could be new or not. It's purples and greens. Gorgeous. I believe I have this one. One of those two greens I have. We have this darker greens, sage greens. It's nice, but it's not new. This one isn't new either, but I think this one is new. This one I'm not familiar with. And then this one has been there for a while. This one also seems new. It's darker, and this one has been there for a while. So they have a few new ones. And this yarn is also soft. It's very similar to the regular soft cakes, which is currently not on sale here. Oh, they have 5% more cotton than they have acrylics, but it also very nice touch to the feel. So there's that. Ta-ta! We had time to indulge in a bit of Linda Hobby, but that stopped my crocheting. Now I want to go buy from Linda Hobby. Well, we're going to walk around town. See you all from Canada. Yeah, take care. Safe travels home. Enjoy the rest of the time you have. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for Susan to tell me to put my credit card away and use my stash. I am right now, by the way, using my stash. And this yarn is my stash on Ravelry, so it's even better. Even better. But as I said, I still want to know how much yarn I actually have, like how much yarn consumption. and that's based on my average yearly consumption of the last 2 years. If like I proceed doing that every year, that's my estimate of how much yarn I have. But obviously, at some stage, I might use even more than that. Um, da, da. Ah, Revenant, I love you. He says here, remember, ladies, it's not the size of your stash that matters, but how you use it. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And now I'm going to add on to this joke, but it's this is not house clean in that sense. In Denmark, there was once a long time ago an advertisement for uh, um, a home improvement store, like where you can go get woods and supplies to, for example, do home improvement. Um, and they had this advertisement saying, like the husband and wife was laying in the bed, and he wanted definitely to do something, and the wife didn't. And then the wife looked at him and said, "Hey, it's Wednesday, and you have to do it yourself." Because the motto of this home improvement store was "Do it yourself." So, and it's Wednesday today, and it's not the stash that matters, but how you use it. And it's Wednesday, so you get to do it yourself. Okay, this is my totally silly humor going sidewise. I'm sorry for being obnoxious now. Um, but yeah, so that just turned into a standard phrase. Oh, but it's Wednesday, so you get to do it yourself. Ah, but yeah, that's true. It's not the size of your stash that matters. Though it does matter a little to me because it matters on how far I should not buy yarn. Like I should think more before getting, if that makes sense. That's what I should do. Bartender, I'll have an extender and make it a double. Intender and make it double, yeah. You're welcome to the party, mate. Don't forget to hydrate now when we are talking about the bars. Though my bar only gave me a mug of tea today. Um, Dinner, luckily, is easy. So I don't know what you guys are having for dinner. Here, I am making a pasta ravioli in a mushroom sauce, which is actually quite good. The ravioli is filled with spinach and ricotta cheese. Oh my goodness. Yarn split. So I now have to redo 2 stitches. Okay, then we'll do that. So that is my dinner plans. It's just very nice, simply. And it is a green mushroom sauce that goes with the ravioli. So it's vegetarian. Dinner is vegetarian today. And if I want to, I do have some shredded mozzarella I could put on top as a little bit of a topping. Italian in the spirits of the Olympics that just finished. Sadness. Rev is making roast chicken breasts and sweet potatoes. We'll have some steamed veg to go with it. That sounds good too, my friend. I am definitely not declining that. I had an omelette for lunch together with some edamame beans. That was good, actually. I should get some more eggs next time I go groceries. Eggs are always good for something. Da 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 da. Mhm. The chicken generally takes 20 to 25 minutes depending on the size, but I just like to cook it to temperature. It just needs to be tender, that's it, right? Tender all the way through. If chicken gets too short and it has some sort of disease, you can get really, really sick. Do, do, do. And then I need 2 stitches in here. Done! Row complete. So what are they saying then? And then I say repeat row 11, and I'm quite sure that is the, yeah, that's the sort of lacy row here. So that's a quick row actually. So we'll turn our work, and if those stitches match all the way to the end, I can weave in those ends afterwards. But this, my friends, is going to be a quick row. So we start by stacking 2 singles to create a double. Then we'll insert my stitch marker just to keep track of that top stitch. Chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch. Then it's a chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet. So that, my friends, is luckily a lot less, but my goodness. And then I'm gonna have to see what's next. Increases is what we'll get to there. And then I'm not really sure what happens after, but before the increases, I think we are gonna look at weaving in ends. I'd like to have those woven in, give some sort of peace in mind. Du, du, du. Mhm. I just decided to get a little bit of background music because I realized it was a bit silent. Mhm. But yeah, so definitely busy days ahead. And I am also genuinely looking forward to see how much yarn I'll have left when I've done the beanie. Um, but I have a good feeling on that. I could definitely not make a second, that's for sure. Honestly, I don't see what should have gone wrong here because it's very straightforward pattern actually. um, this piece. Mm. Do, do, do. Apparently, there's some AC/DC in my playlist. That's not bad. I'm like, sure, bring it on. Nope, can't go wrong with that. A little bit of rocking. I have a bit of everything. I have a really very mixed playlist. That said, this playlist was made back in 2022, so it's not the most updated. Um, we had to make it for an event, and we just basically wanted a mix of everything. So that is what this is. It's a mix of everything, a combination of what was currently on the top charts, but also some of the good old-fashioned numbers in between. For a case of AC/DC, um, this is definitely an old track because it's Highway to Hell, um, which is good for sure. It does remind me of my dad. Um, my dad would definitely listen to AC/DC, so it's what I would classify my dad's music from his generation and so on. But that doesn't mean that's bad music at all. But he's also the type that would do Beatles or Pink Floyd, stuff like that. Crackety crackety crack. Oh, yarn split. We'll redo. Normally, I don't have issues with this yarn art flowers splitting, or not yarn art flowers, Hobby's Twister, but well, it's kind of the same yarn, but still. But today it's been splitty on me. Why, I do not know. Oh, stitch count has been true on this side. That is awesome. Then I lost the yarn. Oh my goodness, it's not a good day today. Maybe one day we should just spend one whole day gorging on yarns on the internet. Like, meanwhile, we are getting closer here. Look. Look, look, look. But as I said, I still don't think it's just not going to happen today. The color change and the attachment of new yarn ball. Nope, I don't think so. But it might have happened before next live, because next live is first going to be next week. And it's going to be next week, Wednesday. Because Friday we have a yarn talk video coming out. And Monday we have the second part of my yarn art flowers and hobby twister cakes. And then Wednesday I'll be back live with you guys. And Friday I'm expecting also to pop live. And that Friday is likely going to be the last live for a bit. Or I may, but I really don't have the time for it. I was partially considering the Monday after, so Monday the 9th, but reality is just Monday the 9th. I have an appointment in the afternoon with my physio, and I need to make sure everything is packed before I go to Amsterdam. I could check, maybe, I don't know if I'll do something from my phone, but I don't think so. I'm more likely just to see if I have some random content to post. And then it's basically travel time, so I need to have a bunch of things ready before then. And that also is one of the reasons that I have lots of things to do. Lots of things to prepare. Megan says it sounds good to her. I hope so. So yeah, they're trying to figure out some things, but yeah, I won't be much live in March, that's for sure. The quick agenda says probably 4 or 5 times. Why don't it show my full agenda? No, it does. This is February. This is March. March is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, likely. I'm estimating 5, which is going to be spread on the first and the last week of March. So in the meantime, I just hope that you can find some of my old videos and rewatch them if you haven't, or if you haven't watched all of my videos, just start somewhere and give it a go. Um, and meanwhile, I will see if I pop into something really nice when I'm there. Maybe I pop into some yarn at some stage. I don't know. Who knows? Would be nice though. Sounds funky. Hmm. So we are getting there actually to the end. So that's where we find darning needles and give that one a look. And then a part of me is still tempted to actually undo my cardigan and have a look if I really think that I need to do 2 more rows or not on the shrug before sewing it together. Yep, we are getting closer to the end here. But of course, this also, as I said, goes much quicker because it's double crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain one, and it's skipping stitches where we have the chains to make those lovely sort of semi-laced pattern. So yeah, this shawl will also be standing still for like 2 weeks in March. Um, because it's not a project I am by any means is gonna bring with me. It's just not. It's too complicated. This is a project that's home friendly. Um, I think. So, and I think we all have projects that's easier for certain situations. So, do, do, do. Where is, oh, that's over here. So, that's how we're looking now. We still have quite some yarn to go before we change for the next cake, but we're down to about a round. So we are gonna find darning needles to get those ends woven in, because then I don't need to look at them anymore. Doo-doo. Had those two ends. So let's get them woven in. Woven in. Woven in would be correct term, I guess. I feel I should take the small one. Meanwhile, it is 4:26 p.m. here in the Netherlands. Mm-mm-mm. And what's really nice about this one is there is easy strands to weave into here. So that is what we'll do. Always nice to find a row of single crochets. Can make it a very nice row for weaving in those ends. But yeah, I need to consider what I'm gonna bring to Denmark. As I said, I think I'm gonna bring the cowl. That seems like a really good project to work on, and then I may need to bring just one project extra, just in case that I get more done than I think I would get done, which probably doesn't happen, but just in case. Um, so there was one end done. Hmm. Oh, okay. I guess it doesn't really matter actually. No. There was the stitches I was looking for. I definitely need projects where I should weave in as few ends as possible. So why is it that I decided that I needed to make the shawl without having colors that would nicely automatically fully flow for the color control? I should maybe just have bought a big cake already like pre-made. 3,000 meters. I don't know even that's even possible. Maybe it is. Um, but it would actually be pretty cool if one could request 100%. What should we call it? Custom cake. Also lengthwise as to when the color changes happens and so on. Because what you then would want is that the color changes in the begin come quicker and then they take longer because of the increase of the shawl. So if you wanted to gradient flow the same, you would need a longer length of yarn before it changes basically. Now that would be so nice. So where's my other? I had 2 yarn ends, now I only see 1. I don't know where it went. Maybe it fell on the floor. I don't know where it is. Literally, it's gone. Good. Oh, there it is. Found it. So we are gonna have a look at increasing. Yeah. Row 24 is an increased row, so that means it's all of these double crochets. That fundamentally is easy enough. The challenge is at some stage we will need to, and used to have an extra stitch marker, but I've probably put that away. Good. So we'll start by stacking some singles here. But I need to redo that because that was too tight. And we actually have 2 in that first stitch. So we stacked one and we made a regular double. Then we'll get my stitch marker in, and then one, 2, 3, 4, and increase. Then afterwards, it's these 5 singles increase, 5 singles increase. So what I'm gonna do again is what I did the others so far is find the extra stitch marker. We count backwards. So instead of me having to count how many repeats I do, I only focus on the repeat itself. And then I know when to stop. So we're counting backwards, which means 2, 4, and I need 43. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 40, 42, 43. So basically, this whole piece, I then can focus on just doing the actual repeat of the decreases, which spans over, so it's 10 repeats. And of those, oh, my yarn spindle twitched. So 10 times I need to do the repeat, which spans over 6 stitches each. So I just can focus on those 6 stitches, basically. And that, my friend, is nice. So count to 5 and increase, count to 5 and increase, all the way until we get to that stitch marker. Four, 5, and increase. And I actually think the following 3 rows is the exact same as others. We just sort of semi-repeated, more or less. Almost. There is 10 trebles, extra trebles in the next row, but that's not too bad. It's still simple. But it's actually good that it's mentioned, but of course, else I probably wouldn't have done it, and then I'd imagine I'd be stitches short. Three, 4, 5, and increase. So that's easy, 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 easy. So I have to say, so far this shawl has proven to be reasonably simple. I had to get used to how it was written in the beginning, but it's not difficult so far. Five. And we did the increase already, so we need to count to 5 again. Two. But yeah, so the hope is basically that after, like towards end of March, maybe I have my streaming software up again and running. There are benefits to the quick end stream here back end, but there are also some disadvantages to it. I'll have to be bluntly honest on that account. Increase. But I definitely won't reach to finish this row today. Well, maybe I'll do today, but not while we're on the live, because we have another 15 minutes or so ish to go. And I am very realistic about the pace I crochet in, while I keep you guys in company and rabble along whatever topic it's gonna be. Um, 3, 4, 5. Mhm. But we are almost to the part where I can just do single crochets in each stitch. That is nice because that is already less counting. It's just cranking it out, so to say. But yeah, it's really been gorgeous weather today. I should consider walking later. I could walk to the range. That said, though, if I choose to do that, I need to ensure that somebody is willing to pick me up. Because I'm not so sure I want to walk home. Because that's going to be late, dark. But it's just fantastic how warm it's been today. Yeah, it kind of warms my soul. And that's probably also why I feel it's a bit warm when sitting here. Um, Without my poncho, even. Surprise, surprise, no poncho today. Just me and my cardigan. So I should have 10 increases, technically 11 if we count the last one with also. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, including that. Perfect. Perfect. Now it's just double crochet in each stitch to the very end or to the center tip. So instantly as it goes straight forward and you don't need to think, crochet stitches also go so much quicker. So that is definitely nice. What's your favorite crochet stitch? Just wondering if you have any favorites. I think double crochet is something that is super nice and easy to make. And it almost like single crochet. When I just do single crochet, I tend to want to make it a bit tighter, same as slip stitches. So I definitely think double crochets are nice. Because with the trebles, it's just too many extra times to pull through and so on. So a good double crochet, I think, is a nice stitch, personally at least. But of course, a good chain never goes wrong either, but that's because it's quick. But yeah, today would have been really nice to go on path. But you guys would have missed me. But you have to miss me until next week, Wednesday. That is when I'll go back live. But we need to count stitches again. 43 of them. So I know when I need to start increasing. Du, du, du. 43. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 4, 6, 8, 40, 2, 3. So here we should start by increasing. And we'll recount just to make 100% sure that I did this correct. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 40, 42, 43. Yes! When it gives the same twice in a row, I will choose to assume that I am doing a good job in the counting department. And I would say if we would have had enough time to do next row as well, we'd definitely have to change yarn because, look, my friends, we're definitely getting there. But let it hang out for the remainder of this live. That would be fine. It's not that long. And that gives a little bit social feeling as to the yarn that I'm using. So far, I like how the colors have been working out. Not that we have had lots of colors, but I am still pretty happy with the choice we did for the center in a solid. Mhm. Now you can see how the yarn slowly moves a bit. But as you can see, there is still a bit yarn to go. There is still a bit to go. Mm-mm-hmm. We are cranking it out here. That is one thing that is for sure. The last stitch. Now it's time to get increasing again. Which basically means we'll be increasing and then we'll do 5 regulars and we'll increase, etc. So we are counting to 5 times 10 in between. Two, 3, 4, and a 5. Oh, Rev asked if it's easier to bring knitting or crochet with you when I travel. Depends. I'm inclined to say crochet because it's just one hook that doesn't get tangled as much. And you can just add a stitch marker to hold on it, and it doesn't untangle. But it depends on what's attached to it. Um, like I would never travel with a center pull cake because that would collapse in the suitcase. Um, and I don't have room in my backpack to bring it with me in that sense. Also, when I am at the airport, I am likely to find a calm place to sit and work. Because that means I will have to work less later on. So, for example, when I travel to Denmark, if I can work an hour from the airport before boarding the flight, that means that I can work an hour less at a different time during that week. Um, so I tend to try to get work done as well when I travel. Of course, then I am on the flight itself. But honestly, the flight is like an hour. So it's not that much of crafty time that I'll miss out on. And my backpack is pretty much filled to the brim because I travel with both my work computer, but I also travel with my private computer, which is about to be this one. um, and that just, it's heavy, it takes up space. And my new computer is a little bit heavier than my old computer, I have to say that. But I am getting much more computer for the money. Um, so I'm sure I'll be fine. But yeah, it just doesn't leave much room for bringing extra things with me. Or I should like have a loose small bag where I could have it in. Could be worth considering, but again, sometimes just feels like too much hassle for what I also like practically will be able to reach and do. So I think I'll have much more quality crafting time by maybe working in the airport instead, because I'll need to bring that with me regardless. And then having less, like needing to work less at different time, and then just there could choose to craft instead. Generally, when I am traveling, I don't get as much time to craft as I do when I'm home. Um, because I often tend to constantly have something on the agenda that needs to get done. We may actually reach to finish this row. Um, so next travel, doesn't matter what I'll bring because I'll be in a car, and it's just 2 hours to Germany, so I can bring whatever. I am potentially, depends on how late we will go, contemplating on that will be then time to bring a new net something. But if I do, that project is likely going to stay at home um, before I go to Denmark. Um, so I think I'll bring a knit and a crochet project with me to Denmark. I'm going to bring the Simply Yet Effective cowl. I will have to frock it and redo it, so recast on. I am gonna do a red net start, I think, and then on a bigger needles. And then if that's not working out, then I don't know what I'll do. I'm maybe not doing it at all. Um, and I think I may just bring like yarns for a bucket hat or something like that, just in case. And that's pretty much gonna be it. I'm gonna be gone for a week, but on the Saturday we will have some family celebrations. Family is coming, and we're gonna have a little birthday party, delayed birthday party. So I'm definitely gonna be all busy there. I have some other engagements and obligations when I'm there. Um, to which I'm like, I don't think I will get as much crafting done as one could maybe desire when I'm there. So I have made some decent progress since last show. The working decreases now. Just need to soldier on and get this done. Soldier on. I was like, I had to read it twice to make sure I understood it correctly, but I do. It's just crank it on. Yeah, keep up the work. I will have a look at it in just a second because we are so close here to the end. So I'm gonna finish this row. Then we're gonna look at the progress a ref made, and then we're gonna have our goodbyes. So just keep on for just a little bit, and we will go and pop in and have a look at the progress that's made. As I said, we are very close here to um, having some things done. Do, do, do. 2 for 5. Increase. Like after this, 2 more left, I think. So we're like, I don't know, in our last 10, 15 stitches. And if it's 20, it's not that bad either. Do, do, do. Increase. The last time we are counting to 5 this time around. Then we're doing the increase. Then it's 4 and then 2, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we are on the last 2. 1, 2. Nice. Well, I should actually not put this one too far away because I may need that later. We completed another row of increases, and then it's treble time again. We did some work, for sure. I like the progress. Could probably have made more, especially if we didn't went yarn shopping in the sense of we went window shopping for yarn. Oh my goodness. And there's the yarn spindle. Let's see if I can share. I should be able to. Ta-ta! Yep, it is gorgeous. I would say. Definitely. Gets a bit bigger. You can definitely also see how it's decreasing now. I like it. I like it. I like the colors facing. This makes me jealous that we can't get this yarn here. Well, that's just how it has to be, I guess. Oh. So yeah, gorgeous is what it is. I see that some of it froze a bit, so but we should be good again. Gorgeous it is for sure. Nice. Well done. Well done. That's pretty much it. It's 5 past 5, and I need to get some dinner cooked. Um, it has a lot of drape, considering I only went up 1 hook size. Definitely does. It looks wonderful. It looks snuggly. It definitely looks snuggly. Um, anyhow, as I said, here 5 p.m. I need to get prepped for cooking. We need to end this live. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I had an absolutely wonderful time with you all. Um, I'm going to be back on Friday, but that's going to be with a yarn talk video. Next week, Monday, we'll have the part 2 of hobbies, a twister and yarn art flower cakes that I have in my stash. There's definitely quite a few skeins. And then I'll be live next week, Wednesday. I'm going to see you all in March. Take care and happy crafting. Until see you either in the next video or in another live. Bye. Love you all.